Hello and welcome to the Temple of Tomes with your host, Indie Comics Jones. Today is May 26th, 2021. This is episode 307, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I'm actually on vacation here, so I don't have the tripod. I hope you don't get too seasick. Today we're going to take a look at Shang-Chi versus the Marvel Universe. This is the number one in this arc, and the legacy number is 127, coming out from Marvel Comics. I believe they're trying to kind of build up a little bit of suspense for what is going to happen with the release of Shang-Chi. I believe it's coming out in the fall, maybe a little bit sooner. Just give a little more introduction to him for some of the other readers that perhaps did not get into the Shang-Chi of the past or the last arc, which was Brothers and Sisters, which was a recommend on this, by the way. Brothers and Sisters will probably come out in a trade pretty soon if it hasn't already. Now, just take a quick look at the cover here. Of course, we've got Shang-Chi standing above all the defeated Marvel Avengers here. We've got Iron Man, Spiderman, Captain Marvel, The Thing, and Thor back there. Basically, this does not happen at all in this comic. I think it's just eye candy for it. There was a number of other variant issues with this. It did come in at $3.99. The story on this is just okay. I mean, I'll give it a recommend for now, just because the writing's pretty good and the art is pretty good. The story is probably not, it's not nearly as good as Brothers and Sisters so far, as they're going to tie Shang-Chi in with everybody. This review is probably going to be pretty short. Now they're calling it the first issue of a bold new era. We'll see. Now, looking at the cover, it is really good that they've got the main character front and center, and the angles that we're seeing here, really nicely done. Colorist did a good job of making the foreground come forward and the background go back. So nice work on that. Like I said, though, this depiction here does not occur in the story at all. In fact, Spider-Man is the only character that we see in here. So we start off with the now, and apparently Sister Dagger is helping Shang-Chi, who's the supreme commander of the five weapons. I can't think of the five weapons something. And they are inside what appears to be the growing, an indoor growth for a special root. But we'll get into that in a little bit. So let's take a look at who has actually worked on this. We have Gene Luen Yang as the writer. He did a great job on Brothers and Sisters arc. And I'm not sure how to pronounce this, if it's Dyke Ruan or D.K. Ruan or Daiki Ruan. I'm not sure. He's the artist. Triana Farrell is the colorist. Letterers VC's Travis Lanham. And the cover artist was Lenil Francis Yu and Sunny Cho. So there you go. And you can see who did some of the variant covers here, including J. Scott Campbell. So a lot of Asians working on the variant covers for this. And we get a little blurb, which is always very, always appreciated. So we got the one about Shang-Chi and then the previous arc that appeared there. So very good. Thank you, Marvel, for doing that. I appreciate that. So it starts out basically earlier that Shang-Chi's on a date with, what's her name? Delilah Wang. And so they're kind of going back and forth. In the meantime, he's getting texts from his sisters, and he's kind of blowing off his sister. She's saying, "We need you now." And he's like, "No, I'm on a date. Leave me alone." And they get really close to getting kissed, and suddenly a body hits the window outside. So Shang-Chi knows his date is basically over, and he joins his sister, who has cornered this street thug, and says, "Look at his hand. What's going on with that?" And suddenly he springs to. He takes a swipe at Shang-Chi, but Shang-Chi is a master of martial arts. He has no problem. Um, and his sister, the dagger, is ready to stab him when suddenly thwip, and we know what thwip means. That means Spider-Man has appeared, and there he is. So they basically stop the fighting between Spider-Man and Delilah after Spider-Man shoots some webbing on her dagger-throwing hand. And then Shang-Chi and Spider-Man make peace for a moment. It appears that Spider-Man is trying to find out a weapons ring, while Shang-Chi is trying to find a drug ring. So Spider-Man suggested, well, maybe they're one and the same, and we should work together. Well, at least let's see what happens. And Shang-Chi at first is not, super cooperative. He says, all right, and so they all come together. In the meantime, Shang-Chi tells his sister Delilah to stay back, and she notices this Chinese medicine store, so she goes in to talk to the owner, and she realizes that something's up with this owner, and he tells a story about him finding a Yeti as a young man, and his master brought it back to his master, who discovered this root, and he suddenly takes the root and turns into the King Wildman. Like I said, this one wasn't as good of a story as Brothers and Sisters. It's still a recommend. It's just, like I said, the writing's very strong in it. The story's not the best, and the art is really nice too. And it does move right along with good action. As you can see here, the two of the Spider-Man and Shang-Chi are taking on the gang leaders here. They discover that the weapons ring and the drug ring are one and the same, so they are going to take it down. Now, in the meantime, while they catch up with Delilah, and she's kind of subdued the King Wildman basically, and he's acting like he's hurt and everything, and he's able to place a root on Spider-Man, and Spider-Man suddenly changes into this exorbitant wild creature of his own, having the spider powers and extra strength and also gigantic size. So both Sister Dagger and Shang-Chi have to take on this creature now, it's like a possessed Spider-Man creature. And so they have a nice little battle here. They're able to use his own webbing against him and tie him up. And apparently his brains aren't as good as Peter Parker's when he's in that state. And Shang-Chi's able to rip the root off his face. Now we have a groggy Spider-Man. They're looking at the boxes and crates of the place that they just broke up, and they're seeing it has the Five Weapons Society trademark on the boxes, so they don't want Spider-Man or the authorities to find out. They're trying to figure out what's going on because Shang-Chi is the supreme commander of the Five Weapons Society. So while Spider-Man is incapacitated and a little groggy, they go ahead and remove all the evidence. And that's kind of where the story ends, basically. Spider-Man is still groggy. As you can see, everyone taking the evidence away, and he helps them out. And before Spider-Man can really do anything, Shang-Chi is off in his special helicopter. So that's where they leave this one now. So that's where the mystery starts. And then across town, we see the King Wildman running off, and there's some strange shadowy guy that wants to offer him some help. So next issue is Shang-Chi versus Captain America. And let's take a quick look at some other things that Marvel's got going on. Here's Scotty Young, Humberto Ramos on Strange Academy number 11, Who Shattered Thoth, a Strange Academy murder mystery that comes out next month. So look forward to that. And here's our cover for next month's Shang-Chi versus Captain America. It looks like Shang-Chi actually has his shield, so I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but you get a little blurb here. I'll give you that too. If you want to pause, you can read that really well. All right. And there you have it. Not a strong recommend, but it was a well-made comic, so I'll give it that much. Yes. Thanks for stopping by and listening to my review. I do not have my Indie Comics Jones seal of approval with me. Like I said, I'm on vacation in California, but I got a bunch of short reviews to do today, so thanks for stopping by. Take care.